Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about textual analysis worksheet and how important this is to your textual analysis. All right, for many different aspects of what you're doing here, it's going to be very helpful. So let's say you're doing the Stranger Things, episode 1 and 2. Uh, this worksheet is going to help guide you through that. Now, this is not the actual written paper, of course. The written look of it is, of course, very different. But this is to help you with the actual context looking in this form. Okay, so what I would recommend that you do is that you would open this document and have right next to it over here the actual document you're working on. For example, I'll bring up a student's work here as an example, and I'm going to bring it from another screen so you won't see it at first here, but here we go. I'm going to bring up one of the projects here. So just give me a moment, and I'm going to cut this out, hopefully, if I'm thinking correctly here. Okay, so let's say we're going to use here from water. She's got a lot of work already done. So let's say I'm putting that over here, and I want to work on it. So you could have both of these open, like so, and work on it this way. So you could actually, I think I'm just going to open this. There we go. So I've got it here, and then you could actually work on it, edit it, add to it as you're doing this. So let's say we're going through, and we've got, we're going to talk about water, we'll talk about Stranger Things, doesn't matter. So here you want to list, I've got a breakdown of what is important to these particular parts of the textual analysis. Now I have on here, limit this to 30 seconds. Now this is because it's based on the oral presentation. But you could have here, limit this to one paragraph. So I'm going to put that one paragraph. And that's just to get the context of the scene so that the examiner knows what to expect here, or what your scene you're doing. So we've got that. This is sample content from the mission here. Okay, this is sample content from the mission on this part. So we have the context of the extract in the film, briefly describe the scene. And so like here with I'm not sure whose is this one. I think this is Marion's. The extract I've chosen to take is Depa May. I don't know how to say that film. Water. I am will be analyzing water in the terms of historical context. So she's taken that first paragraph pretty much literally. And then here she is already breaking down the history of it, doing a really good job at what looks like here for the context, and has several pages done and even has a reference at the bottom. Okay, so what I was thinking here is as you go through the film and watch your scene, you just simply drop in content here, especially now for the rationale for selection. The scene is important because it's part of the movie's climactic debate, keeping the natives in the Mission Again movie, keep them from becoming slaves. So that's the context of this particular scene. Let's say it's a scene from Stranger Things. You want to take and put the context for it in there too. Okay, so here we go. We're going to remember the director's intent and talk about the script and who wrote the script and how important the script is to the story. Obviously, it is the story. Then we're going to talk about cultural context. The main theme of the mission is man versus nature, because the one priest is trying to have peace with the natives and having to be part of the society, but society doesn't want to be part of it. So in this particular story here, in the Mission movie, there's a situation going on where the church is trying to take over a village in, I forget, Central America somewhere, and the village is already being controlled by the church, but these mercenary groups from another country are coming in and taking over, and so it's causing a battle between all these different forces. So it's man versus nature, man versus man is part of the context there. So for Stranger Things, what is that cultural context? It's 1980s, Cold War, rural society. These are all topics you can touch on in research, okay? Cinematography, film language. Run through that entire scene that you're doing and describe everything and what is happening shot by shot. Then also talk about the composition in there. Is it mostly tight shots, wide shots? Is there anything in particular that's different about it? Depth of field I wouldn't really worry about because most modern films don't use much depth of field. It's usually very thin depth of field. Mess and scene, what are we looking at? What's the overall look and feel of the film? and then I think it says mess and scene, positioning characters and objects. Well, again, that's up to the context of each scene, but you should read through this to see what you think is part of that. Lighting, is it high or low key? Meaning, is it dark? Is it light? And mostly in those scenes from Stranger Things, it's dark. Lighting used, and then they talk about how they lit it. And of course, that's stuff you could probably look up too about the technical aspects of the film or TV show. Color is used. How is color used? Well, in Stranger Things, it's definitely a part of the film. They have very rich colors. But again, look that up and back it up with your own assessment. Okay, costumes and hair and makeup. Obviously, 1980s for the Stranger Things film, and for water is definitely Indian. But be more specific. Talk about, is it big hair for the 80s, small hair, short hair, poofy hair, whatever. Body acting and body language in the scene. What do you, when you watch the scene without audio, what are you feeling? Like when the mom is running out of the house, obviously the body language is very important there. She's very scared. And here, watch the scene without picture. That's what I got to fix. Okay, listen. Kiss Kristen? Okay, let's not do that. Listen to the scene. Okay, I can't even type, people. To scene without picture. So remember, the sound is very important in these movies. Talk about the music, and also here, what songs were used. Identify the songs. Look at the editing. How is it edited? Is it edited with very long shots, very short cuts in each scene? Remember, the editor makes a choice. The directors are making a choice as to what they're showing you, and how is it being. Like I said, is it straight cuts, meaning is it a long shot? Does dialogue overlap? Sound bridges? I'm not really sure what the bridge is like. Connecting scenes where you hear some sound from the next scene before the scene shows up. Those are called L cuts and J cuts. Consider how long each shot is. Okay. Cross-cutting, fades, dissolves, and I don't think there's any of those in these scenes, but you can look for it. Matching cuts, where match cut means that you're a shot of someone walking in a door. You have the shot from the outside, and then you have the shot from the inside, and it matches, and it looks very natural. Okay. Target audience. Who are they trying to reach with this movie or TV show? What's the theme? Now, I have socio-cultural context here again, but we're going to change that to cultural context. That's what we're calling it now. Cultural context. Emphasize that again here. Generic expectations, that's hard to describe and explain. I never really got all that, except, we have themes in there, man versus man versus evil, which I guess would be a good one for Stranger Things. Motifs and symbols. We talked a little bit about how they showed the creature later in the series, but at first they're being very... keeping it very secret and dark and not knowing what it is, kind of like Super 8. And keep that in mind too, that there's a lot of influences here for these directors. Look up anything has to do with all the context around these films, and you'll have so much content, you will have so much to work with that you'll have a hard time deciding what not to include in your presentation here in the textual analysis. So film criticism too. What do the critics think? Don't talk about like or dislike. Talk about what they actually said, and what the overall feel is. Was it well accepted, not well accepted? And of course, you can talk about culturally too. It's a very popular show, being Stranger Things. Water, don't know much about. You'll have to look that up. But that if you fill out the sheet, make a copy of it, fill out the sheet, have your own information here, it's really going to help you to analyze this, get it done, and take this content and then transferring it over here to the content here. You'll do a great job. Good luck. As always, you can contact me anytime with questions, and I will be critiquing and adding comments here to your documents. So what I'll do is I'll be editing here, and I'll add, I think I have to open this up. No, it's already open. I can add here editing suggestions, and I will go through and add suggestions and comments to your paper, to your textual analysis. Good luck.